Hello. So you might be wondering, why is she doing this? Well, especially on my day off, I should just be resting or something, right? Well, my sister told us to make sure we all did our colonoscopies. Now, if you know anything about a colonoscopy, you should do it around age 45 to 55, I think. But if you have any cancer in your family, you should definitely do it around 40. What it does is it checks your colon to make sure you don't have any cancerous polyps. When they go in, they can actually take those off and then give you a clean bill of health for about 10 years. I guess that's good, considering if you do it early, you can find out some things. So, my sister already did it, and now it's my turn, and she's younger than me. And one of the things that you have to do is you have to eat. Well, there's several things leading up to this, and why I decided to do this video today. A week before, you can't eat nuts, seeds, kernels, or popcorn. If anybody knows me, I am allergic to many nuts. Pecans is one I'm not, and cashews, so I eat those a lot. So those are out. Plenty of my lovely popcorn, and you know I love my top seed and my skinny pop. And um, let's see, seeds. So none of those things. Then 5 days before, you couldn't do any blood thinners, Aleve or ibuprofen. Well, I don't have any blood thinners. I do use Aleve a lot, but if you do need some pain medication, they tell you to do Tylenol. Okay, I'm gonna do a disclaimer. This is stuff that I learned from my medical doctor. I am not a medical doctor. I am a doctor, but not a medical doctor. So always consult your medical doctor. This is for advice and what I've done for me that maybe it might help you if you ever have to do this or decide you should do it between ages of 40 and 55. So, 4 days before, no laxatives. And then the day before, you're supposed to avoid anything red, anything purple, anything orange. Um, and then also, you're supposed to then also only do clear, yeah, only you can only drink or eat clear things. So that would be like teas. Um, One of my favorite was my Hawaiian tea, the chocolate one, but you can't do that this time. You can't do chocolate, but you can do some hot cinnamon sunrise tea. I have a China Slim Herbal Delight one. This one is a pineapple. Can't do berry because you can't do those colors, and that's red. And then you can do jello. So I found green, yellow, and blue since you can't do red, orange, and purple. So jellos. And I did those last night. You can also do other things like um, Gatorades and apple grape juice. I found this Martinelli that's both apple and grape, so that works really fine. And then um, a lot of people, because I don't really like Gatorade because it tastes like salt to me, so I drink. Well, I was recommended to try the frost with the cherry, and as you see, it's clear, but make it cold. So I put it in the freezer. And then someone told me if by all fails you can't make the broth, just get a can of chicken noodle soup, and then just strain it. I don't like canned stuff. I'm a cook. No, I'm a chef. So canned stuff just doesn't taste good to me, which is why I'm doing this video, because I can just make the clear broths and it's very simple. So this is what the video is all about. How to make then clear broths and using my capsule menu planning method. If you're familiar with that, it's taking a set of ingredients that you can use to make multiple different dishes. Saves time, saves money, saves headache. and then get you a few meals more than just one. So I'm going to move some of this stuff out my way and get started. So when you're thinking about capsule menu planning, in this case, it'll be our base ingredients. So I'm gonna move it over a little bit here so you can see. And so our base ingredients for a good broth is you're going to have celery, carrots, parsley, onions, garlic, some nice thyme, and the trick is to try to have as many fresh ingredients that you can as well. Let me see. And then, did I do the garlic? Yes. And then salt. So on my trip to Hawaii, I got some Hawaiian hot salt and some Hawaiian salt that has turmeric in it. So I'm going to try both of these. And then also you're going to need some peppercorns and bay leaves. Those are the spices that you'll need. So those would be your base. Both of the broths need the exact same base. Now I'm going to do the broths two different ways. I'm going to do the chicken one using the stovetop method, and I'm going to use the beef one using the crock pot method. So what I've done, let me get that, is for the beef bones, I cooked them. What do they call them? I can't think of it. But I cooked them because when you cook the beef bones or bake them for, I did about an hour. I put a little olive oil on it, and I put a little bit of garlic on it. When you cook them, it makes it more flavorful. So I did that pre this video, so I'll have that already. So the two different things besides your base, so you need that for both. But to make the beef one, you'll need those bones. You'll need about 3 to 4 pounds of bones, and you need stew meat, about a pound of stew meat, beef stew meat. For the chicken, you need about 3 to 4 pounds of chicken, which is a nice sized chicken there. So when you're starting to do this, the first thing that you want to do is always do your vegetables first. I've already washed my vegetables, and I'm going to bring both of these pots over. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw the ingredients in both pots, because you're going to see how easy this is to do, to make two different broths. So first off, you're going to need your parsley. And like I said, I've already washed both. What you could do is you could put it in a cheesecloth, all of this stuff. But since you're going to drain it anyway, you could just put it all in one pot. So you'll need parsley. I would keep the stems on. It has good flavor in it too. So both for the chicken one and for your beef one. You're also going to need 1 carrot for each. So take some of the skin off. So 1 for your beef broth and 1 for your chicken broth. All right. Also, you're going to need the celery. I like to also leave the leaves on the celery because they're packed with flavor as well. And you need 2. So I only did 3. So you need 2. And I'll cut that a little bit because that's not going to fit. So 1 for there. And another one for the beef broth. Also your garlic. So I found the best way to open garlic, and you want to use 2 of those, is to simply take it, smash it, and it opens very nicely. So put a couple of garlic cloves in. It didn't come off as easy that time. So that'll be for the chicken. And then for our beef. A lot of people always ask me, how do I get my food to taste so good? This is how. You got to use fresh ingredients. Even things that I don't like, because vegetables are not my favorite. But if you use fresh ingredients, makes everything taste really good. All right, so we also need some thyme. I wish you can smell this. It smells so wonderful. So you're just going to put a few sprigs in both of thyme. And you're going to need a bay leaf. I'm just going to put a couple in each. And remember to take that out at the end. Well, you're going to anyway, because you're going to be straining it. And then your onion. So one of the things I learned in my Pro Chef cooking class is that it helps if you kind of cut it down the middle for those, so you don't tear as much. It also helps that when you cut it, to just cut one of the tops. So when you want to, I'll show you in just a second. When you want to make it into small pieces, if this is intact, it keeps it together so it doesn't fall apart on you. Now, I just did that for demonstration because we don't really need it chopped up small because it's a broth and we're going to be steaming it streaming. Well, I can't talk today. We're going to be taking it through a sieve later. We don't need that. So you just throw the whole thing. But I would quarter it. And then you're going to need that also for your beef. Strain it. That's the word. You're going to be straining it later. Have I told you I just been on liquids all day? So brain is starting to slow down. All right. So the onions for there. And then you want to put your peppercorns. I like this one because it allows you to do different sizes, small, medium, and large, but just put a few sprigs. In both. And then that sea salt. So what I want to do, because chicken takes a little bit to season sometimes, I want to put the hot in my chicken a little bit. It's about a tablespoon. You can always add a little bit later, but you can't take it out, so don't go crazy with the salt. You want to watch your salt too. And then I'm going to use my Himalayan one with turmeric in it for the beef bones. All right. So everything's set. So the only thing that we have left is the meat itself. I got from Price Chopper the Smart Chicken from yesterday. So I like this one because it don't have antibiotics in it, and it's also grain fed and it's free range. So I'm just going to cut that up, wash it and cut it up. And I learned to cut chicken by cutting it using the different grooves. But some cultures, they just cut it in different pieces. But if you cut it first with the leg and the thigh, cutting that leg and thigh off. So you have a piece like that. And then there's a piece right in the middle where you can cut the leg right off. If it's hard to cut, then you're cutting on the bone. But there's just a gristle there that'll make it really easy. So that's going to go over in our pot that's going on the stove. And then for your wings, same thing. There's a groove that separates the wing and the breast. And you just find that. You can use a fillet as you're cutting. And it separates that. Just throw that in. I'm going to go ahead and finish the other thigh. And sometimes I don't use knives. I just go ahead and just cut it. Or tear it. Just that. And then you're left with, well, I forgot to do the wing, but I'm not going to cut it. The back and the breast. The back is good to also put in the broth because the bones help, the bone marrows, and the bones helps really season the broth. So you just cut them, separate them like that. Throw that in. And you can either cut it down the middle or you can cut it to the side. If you want to get it even. When I was growing up, we only got our favorite piece of chicken, one piece. No, yeah, we got one piece. Sometimes two, because there was 5 of us total. And mine was the breast because it was the biggest piece. But as an adult, I really don't like the breast. I like the legs now. But I like the breast, but I like legs better. So 2 pieces, throw that in there. Now that's done. Now what you want to do between is wash your hands, wash your cutting board, wash your knife, because you don't want to cross-contaminate that chicken with your beef or anything else in that matter of fact. Salmonella is real. So I'm going to clean that. Really good. All right. I don't even know why I cleaned that because I don't need to do anything because I bought the meat that's in the package and it's already cut. So what I just want to do with it is wash it. So this is my beef stew meat. And like I said, you need like a pound of this. But I'm going to rinse that off. I don't know. Some people don't rinse their meat off because they just, when you look at it in the store, it looks clean, but I just always wash my stuff. You just never know what goes in from packing. All right. So that's the stew meat. And then I'm going to add, if you're going to keep this in your trash can for a while, like a couple of days before you empty the trash, wash it out. It'll keep it from smelling. All right, so my bones that I roasted over there, I want to add those. As you can see them, it's all nice and roasted. It smells very good. So you're going to add that. And the last thing that you do after you wash your hands after touching that beef is you add any additional ingredients. Remember I told you this was capsule menu planning, that you can have the same base ingredients to make several dishes. The only thing different in this dish is I'm going to put a little bit of apple cider vinegar. It helps to tenderize the meat in there a little bit. Although this is going to be a broth, I'm going to use the meat later for another dish, but primarily this is for me to get my my beef broth. So you just put 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in there. And then you're just going to fill it until it covers just over the top of the beef bones. When you're streaming live, it seems like it's taking forever to fill. All right, so see, just enough. And then you'll just pop it in your crock pot and cook it for about 10 hours. So that's will be for 10 hours on low. Now, if you're making pho, and I'm going to come back to that soon, you can cook it even longer for like 20 hours or 30 hours, because the more you cook it and the more it simmers, even the more flavorful it gets. But I'll come back to that. You're also going to fill up your pot for the chicken. With cold water. Can't hardly see the vegetables in there, but they're in there. And this you'll put on the stove, and you're going to get it to boil, and then you're going to turn it down low, and you're going to cook this for about 5 hours. So I'm going to start it on high for now. And then when it simmers down, when it boils, then I'll turn it down so it can simmer. Now, when it's done, what you can do is take a cheesecloth. I have a nut bag that I got, so I'm just going to take it and put it over my bowl, and I'm going to strain it through that. That way, it'll catch all the vegetables, it'll catch the meat. Well, I'll probably take most of that out, but just do the end. So I can strain it so I can get my clear chicken broth and my clear beef broth. So those are the 2 methods that we have. One on the stove for your chicken, and one in the crock pot for the beef. You can actually do each of them in reverse too. So that's not the only thing. Let me see. Oh, one other thing about the colonoscopy that I forgot to mention. You can also eat Italian ice. So I got some lemon Italian ice, so you can eat that. And then you can also eat popsicles, not the ones that have the fruits in it, but the ones that's just made with water. But you can only eat, remember, green, yellow, and blue. So let's see, the white ones in there, so I can eat those too. So I can't eat the red ones or the orange ones until after the procedure. But you have those. The Jell-O I made last night. I made not a green. Yes, I did. I did make green. Blue, yellow, and a green one. So those are ready. And what I'm eating on for today. So those are the things to help you get prepared for the colonoscopy, and especially if you try to eat like some of those soups, it's very difficult to eat that all day, but that'll help. So I hope this recipe helps you, having both your chicken, your clear chicken broth, and your beef broth that's homemade, and you see just a few ingredients that's thrown 5 hours on the stove for your chicken, 10 hours, or you can do even more on low in the crock pot for your beef. And then you have your bone broth, you have your protein, you have your liquids. So very good while you have to do all the fasting. So I may come back on a little later because also a part of that pre-preparation, you also have to take this. Well, maybe I could just do it now. You also have to take, well, I'm not, because I have to do it at 5. You also have to drink this liquid. I don't know what it tastes like. I've looked up many videos, so I'm anxious to see. So I'll be back on later to just give some tips about that. But I have that chilling, because of all the videos I looked at, that's what people said was the best thing to do. Well, I hope you like this video, and if you want to see other videos like this, please hit that subscribe button and the notification buttons for other videos I might upload. You can also follow me on Instagram. The icon is linked in my YouTube video. Well, thank you for being with me today on Dr. V's Recipes at Victoria Pronounced Victoria. Have a good afternoon, morning, or night. Peace.